Welcome to the RVA Small Business Show, your number one resource for business growth education, insights, and news. Let's get today's show started.
Welcome to the RVA Small Business Show, exclusively on the RVA Small Business Network. I'm Cory Mosley, your host for today's show. Today's show is being brought to you by the Henrico Economic Development Authority. The Henrico Economic Development Authority is passionate about its mission of cultivating a vibrant economy and promoting an outstanding quality of life. Anthony Romanello, Executive Director of the Henrico Economic Development Authority, is joining me today to talk more about the work they are doing to make business thrive in Henrico. Anthony, welcome to the RVA Small Business Show.
Thanks, Cory. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're excited to get you here because, of course, the work you are doing is impacting business owners, and that's our audience. So what I'd like to get started is having you define what the Henrico Economic Development Authority is and what it does.
Yeah, in a nutshell, we're the economic development arm for the county, and our charge is to grow Henrico's economy and working with businesses of all sizes, from our 6 Fortune 1000 headquarters that are here in Henrico to medium-sized businesses on down to entrepreneurs, startups, folks that just have an idea that maybe they want to have a business, and everybody in between. And the county really counts on us to continue to grow that tax base, because as we grow that tax base, that enables the county to continue to provide the high-quality services, schools, roads, parks, police and fire, that the residents of Henrico have come to expect.
And from this perspective, you know, it's very competitive right now. There's a lot of people that want the corporations, that want the business owners here, you know, in the surrounding areas of Henrico. What are some of the things that are outstanding, or standouts, I should say, when it comes to the Henrico County?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we spend a lot of time and a lot of effort in telling our story about what differentiates us. And I would say that it comes down to a couple of things, Cory. One is that our community, from the folks in county government who issue permits, who work with the business community, all the way up to county management and the Board of Supervisors, they get business, they get economic development, they understand the importance of it, to having a high quality community, and to doing everything we can to reduce burdens and to reduce the time that it takes to get a business open or to help a business expand. And the second piece of that is the quality of life that we enjoy here in this community. I live in Henrico. I work in Henrico. It's a great place to live and work. It's a great place to raise your kids. Our public schools are top-notch. Our park system is phenomenal. And of course, we're part of the really exceptional Richmond region and all the things that we enjoy in the Richmond region with the city and the surrounding counties and all the amenities that we enjoy. And telling our story of quality of life, which we call our Live Your Best campaign, Live Your Best in Henrico, has become even more important because we tested the internet during the pandemic. It worked. And we thought this a few years ago, but now we know knowledge workers can work anywhere in the world as long as they have Wi-Fi. And so we say, well, why not work from here? Right. Where you're going to enjoy a relatively low cost of living, very short commute times if you are commuting to work, 22-minute average commute time, and all the great amenities that Henrico and the Richmond region offer.
And, you know, I think the thing that's interesting here, particularly when you think about this county connection to Richmond, is because you could literally, drive a stoplight and move from county to county to county. Oh, yeah. There's this kind of intertwining that I think is very impactful and can be valuable to the marketplace. And I think part of Henrico kind of almost sitting in that epicenter, so to speak, when you think about I-64, when you think about those corridors, it's a really powerful, I think, proposition for business. As a business owner who has their business in Henrico, I think I can say that uniquely also.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I mean, we're part of a much larger region, and my colleagues and I, as well as the folks in county and city government, work together every day for bettering the region. Now, sometimes we do compete on projects. Occasionally, we'll compete with Chesterfield or Hanover or the city of Richmond. Not frequently, just because each of us has different offerings. But sometimes we do compete for projects. But when we win, we all celebrate, no matter where it lands, because any project that comes to the Richmond region is good for the region. And the people that are going to supply that project, the people that are going to work there, are going to come from all over our region. And that's all about how we can grow the economy. And we know that the business community doesn't focus on jurisdictional boundaries. Right. They just want to be about their business, and it's our job to make sure that we can help them get there.
Absolutely. I think it's clear with a lot of the initiatives you have in place that you're doing just that. Now, we talked about all the good things. Let's talk about challenges, right? So the new year creates new opportunities. People are concerned. Business owners are concerned. They're concerned about inflation. They're concerned about all of these different factors here. What are some of the challenges that you see, and how is the EDA addressing that?
Yeah, a couple of challenges that I'll mention for us. One is that we're the retail center for the Richmond region, which is a good thing. But the changing nature, the way we all shop continues to change. And right now, bricks and mortar retail, even coming out of the pandemic, is very strong. But the retail industry is mercurial. It'll change on a dime. And with 27 million square feet of retail, that's something we have to be mindful of. And that as the industry changes, that can we adapt those buildings so that they can be continue to be contributors to our economy. As an example, Sam's Club closed one of their warehouses on Laburnum Avenue in Henrico, and we were able to bring T-Mobile to that building. They put $30 million into that building, and they've got 1,200 people working there as one of their customer call centers. So that was a real win in repositioning a building that was no longer viable for retail use. The other one we're watching very closely, just like the rest of the world, is the future of office space. We have 22 million square feet of office space. We're certainly, in Henrico, we're certainly not immune from the trends of what's happening with office space and the changing nature of work. I think the real challenge there, Cory, is there is no wise old man, there is no wise old woman. Nobody knows what's going to happen with office space, and anybody who says that they do, I just don't believe it, because I think it's changing so quickly. And we created an office task force earlier this year with some key property owners, and we're having some really good conversations with them and with the county about how we can reposition some of those buildings and make them continue to be viable commercial buildings. And then also, what can we do, again, from a quality of life standpoint, to tell our story? While office is a concern for us, it's also a real opportunity for us, because as folks are breaking those leases or thinking about moving out of high-cost cities in the Northeast or places that have high taxes or high regulatory environment, we're down here with a low cost of doing business without significant onerous regulations, and we think that that could position us well for companies that are looking to perhaps leave the Northeast or the West Coast, where it's a little bit harder to do business.
Right, and I think we're seeing that with some of the recent announcements of people of companies that are coming into the marketplace. Now, you were talking about redevelopment, because I think one of the things that's interesting about our area and the county is I find myself going down roads or down areas that I remember from 12 years ago or 13 years ago and going, was that building there?
Yeah.
Or did it used to look like that? What's the approach for people who are not maybe familiar with engaging as a business owner with Henrico EDA? What's that process? If I want to look at a redevelopment, I want to make a greater connection or start a relationship, how does that work?
Pick up the phone or come see us. I mean, we're doing a number of redevelopment projects in Henrico right now, and what you're seeing in the county is public-private partnerships where we're reinventing these properties to make sure that they continue to stay viable. We've had great success at Regency, which is a public-private partnership, a mall that was built in 1975. Now it has
that was my first job
at Regency.
My first job was at Hex.
There you go,
Hex and Godiva.
At
in
Godiva.
Regency
I
Square.
would have been in trouble if I worked at Godiva. I actually bought my wife's engagement ring at Schwarzschild's at
Okay.
Regency.
Yes.
Still good 30 years later. She was there this morning when I left the house, so that was good news. And what's happening there is that retail is almost becoming incidental. There's apartments, there's an Olympic-sized pool, there's a trampoline park, there's Henrico adult education, and more to come there. Virginia Center Commons, which was built in the late 1980s, has now been mostly demolished. The county just opened the Henrico Sports and Events Center, which is a 200,000 square foot indoor recreation facility with 12 regulation basketball courts convertible to basically any hard court sport that you can play, as well as convocations, graduations, things like that. There'll also be some residential associated with that. And I think the real textbook case in our region, it is in Henrico, is Willow Lawn. Willow Lawn Shopping Center is 70 years old, and they have continued to reinvent themselves from the 1950s all up until now, when they just were granted a rezoning by the Board of Supervisors to re-envision that property yet again. And I think that's what's so exciting about what's happening in Henrico. There's a lot of new development, and that's all wonderful. But what we're seeing is this reemergence throughout the county through redevelopment, through the creative spirit of the private sector, with the county supporting that. And that's becoming a real differentiator for us.
I think there's just a lot of power in the ability to adapt, right?
Yeah.
You know, before I let you go, what's some of the things that you're most excited about, you know, on the horizon? Things that you can talk about. I know you can't talk about everything, but is there something in particular that you just find really exciting as we move into the new year?
There's nothing I can tell you about. Next question. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. There's going to be, I'll just say this, Cory, there's going to be some big announcements in 2024, particularly on the industrial side, with land that the EDA owns in and around Richmond Airport at the White Oak Technology Park. The other thing I'm really excited about with respect to our future is that the greater Richmond area, along with the Hampton Roads area, is emerging as a global internet hub. And that's because we have high-speed internet connectivity that runs from Henrico through Virginia Beach across the Atlantic. And we have the world's fastest internet speeds. And that's really positioning anybody who's in business, because if you're in business, you're in the data business, but particularly big business, to help them do their work. There's $10 trillion a day in financial transactions that are done worldwide. The one statistic that I really am excited about is 5 years ago, none of the international traffic from the international internet traffic on the East Coast was coming through Henrico. Today, that number is 18%, and it's growing. Facebook built a 2 million square foot data center in our technology park. And you may ask, why did they build it there? Well, they built it there because 90% of the people in the world who use Facebook don't live in the United States. And so that connectivity across the Atlantic to Europe, to South America, to Africa is so critical. And after the connection to Africa, it's going to come around the Cape Horn of Africa, and it'll wind its way to Mumbai, and we'll have direct connectivity to Asia coming in the next couple of years. That's going to be a tremendous differentiator for anybody who's moving data as part of their business. And we're really excited for what that could mean for technology companies and all companies.
Seems like yet another opportunity for great businesses to come do that business right here in Henrico County.
Well, I mean, you know, that's what we think, and we're all about helping our business community succeed. Again, businesses of all size, from the entrepreneur to the Fortune 500 headquarters and everybody in between. We love to work with them. In addition, we have some substantial efforts with the startup community, working with Startup Virginia, Lighthouse Labs, and others, and also with our SWAM community, small women and minority-owned businesses, particularly in helping those businesses get SWAM certified, so they become part of the procurement list that the state has and local governments have to assist them in growing their business. And we think that's absolutely part of our mission.
Well, Anthony, I want to thank you for your time today, and I want to thank you for the work that you and the team at Henrico EDA are doing to make a difference for business owners like RVA Small Business Network.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. We appreciate what you guys are doing for us and what you're doing for community, Cory, and please keep it up.
Absolutely. We'll have you back soon.
Absolutely.
Count on it.
Love to come back.
Absolutely. For more information on the work that Henrico Economic Development Authority is doing, please visit them online at henrico.com. This has been another episode of the RVA Small Business Show, RVA's only online streaming video network dedicated to small business growth, education, trends, and news. I'm Cory Mosley, and I will see you next time.
This has been another episode of the RVA Small Business Show, presented by the RVA Small Business Network. Be sure to like, share, and join our newsletter at RVASBN.com.